1, 2, and 3, baby. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hamana, 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 hamana. Hamana, 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 hamana. What's going on, sexy people? All right. I am live. And let's just wait for people to let's give a couple of minutes for the people to show up. I thought I was going to be late for this show, honestly. I thought I was going to be late. All right. So today we're going to talk about Sony, how Sony's beating the shit out of Disney. And will the video game industry become like the movie industry? Yes, I always keep a list of things that I'm going to talk about right here in my little notepad because I am a very organized and beautiful person. Beautiful. What's wrong with me? Yes. Just a couple of minutes for people to show up. We're going to start at the Hollywood Reporter. And let's give everybody a few minutes. All these advertisements here. Jesus. Good gracious. I'm going to have fun with this. And although it's only going to be 2 topics, I mean, this is pretty much going to stretch out almost to an hour today. So let's have some fun. And I know there's a war going on in the Ukraine with Russia. And I don't want to get into that topic or get political, but I just want to say something about that really quick. And, this is between Russia and the Ukraine. And as long as nobody else interferes, there won't be a World War III. All right, Nitwit's World says, let's hope there's no 9/11 times 10 in America, but with nukes this time. Man, shit, I freaking hope not, bro. I freaking hope not. And honestly, like, let's say if a freaking war starts out, like, more than half of these freaking Generation Z, and even millennials, we're not ready for war. We are the comfortable generation. Gen X and maybe the boomers who are more likely to be ready for war. But us, man, nah. A lot of millennials and Gen Z, we're too freaking sensitive for war. I know I've taken martial arts, so I've taken martial arts. I lift weights. I can fight. And I'm just speaking for myself here, so I can probably take down 1 or 2 people down if I get into a fight. But then, but if a war breaks out, like, you're gonna have a lot of people just running with their tail between their legs. Jesus Christ. All right. Anyways, let's enough. I don't want to talk about war right now. Let's focus on movies. Let's focus on video games because that's what Andy Matrix is all about. And let's get started with the Hollywood Reporter. Studio profit reports Disney dives as Sony soars, Paramount rises. Yes, baby. Okay. Sony has been beating the living crap out of Disney in the box office. I mean, in entertainment, in entertainment in general, really. Because Sony has been releasing a lot of really good work. And I didn't know. The Squid Game, was Squid Game produced by Sony? I'm not quite sure. I know it's Korean, but I don't know if it was produced by Sony. I know Spider-Man belongs to Sony no matter what Disney Marvel says. Um, Ghostbusters, that's definitely Sony. I don't know what this little cartoon is. This what is this? I don't know what this cartoon is. All right, so really quick on the chat, it says Nitwit's World. One of my best friends from Discord had to leave the internet because of Ukraine, so he's taking a break until then. It says, I hope you saw my comment about what the word nakama means. Yes, Nitwit's World. If you if you can hear me, I mean, I'm sure you can hear me. But yes, nakama. Yes, I actually see that comment. So thank you, and I'm gonna reply to that comment later on today. So once we're done with the stream. All right. So it says annual analysis shows it was a rebound year for the box office and many studios' businesses profits after being a 2020 COVID hit. But higher expenses wait on some majors as production and marketing spending ramp up. The cinemas return to business, thank God, and studios push their productions work into a higher gear in 2021 after the pandemic has shut down screens and crews around the globe for extended periods in 2020. Late in the year, though, the Omicron variant threw a wrench into the planning. It says, with Hollywood also spending more on production and film marketing, profitability gains at entertainment conglomerates studio arms generally weren't as pronounced as revenue growth. In two cases, the bottom line even drops, the Hollywood Reporter annual. All right, so basically, yeah, because Spider-Man was basically making money all throughout the pandemic. And, and then you had people who were saying, oh, no, the reason why my movie failed was because of the pandemic. Spider-Man proved you wrong, asshole. Spider-Man and Ghostbusters Afterlife, which that was a really good movie, by the way. It was a little bit woke, but I mean, it wasn't really a big deal. It was still a great movie. It says 2020 was a wipeout, and really the first half of 2021 was not too dissimilar. Jen Harrison, America's media and entertainment leader, accounting and consulting firm EY, says about box office trends, adding, I think the best signal about enduring consumer appetite to go back to the theater was really Spider-Man No Way Home, which came out in December. And by the way, Spider-Man No Way Home, I think it's like, it made $1 billion, maybe over $1 billion. So it also propelled Sony's film until the film unit to a huge year with a 90% profit improvement, 94% when figures are not rounded. And it led the way in terms of bottom line growth, followed by Paramount, while Netflix once again posted the highest annual profit of the pact. Yeah, so Sony's been beating the crap out of Disney. Another thing that you gotta understand about Disney, they are relying a little too much on their on Disney Plus, the video streaming service. And you gotta do more than that. Like, you gotta put some movies out in the theater, right? You gotta put some movies out in the theater because, not everybody wants to subscribe to Disney Plus just so that they can watch Encanto, just so that they can watch Luca, just so that they can watch what's the new one? Redline? What's it the one about the red bear or something like that? The red furry looking creature. Right? But if you release it in theaters, people will just pay the $15 to go watch the movie, right? And then you make a couple of $100 million, and that's actually more profit, right? So Disney has been losing in so many, and I'm going to talk about how Disney's losing, not just in the box office or in entertainment, because Disney, they're losing in entertainment. I mean, they fucked up Star Wars. They fucked up a lot of fucking franchises, Disney's losing more than in the entertainment business, by the way. So also the Disney theme park, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. The Disney everything. I mean, they're still fucking up Star Wars. The Mandalorian was good, but the Book of Boba Fett, nope. Say it'll. What is it? It includes. It's the part about Disney. It says, what also remains the fact that financial disclosure for Hollywood studios are limited and not always easily corroborable. For example, Sony includes TV networks, Disney includes live events, and so on, with companies like Disney and NBC Universal having reorganization of their business and reporting segment. The latest data also quite different for them compared with the past. I said TRH crunched figures for calendar 2021-2020 to enable a comparison, even though Disney and Sony have fiscal years that don't align with the calendar year. Their executive teams focus on managing their businesses with an eye on the fiscal year, nonetheless, the studio profit reports. All right, so let's take a look at this chart. Take a look at this chart. So the brown is the revenue, the ship brown is the revenue, and then the black is the profit. Operating income, right? So Disney dies as Sony soars. Netflix is at the top. I mean, look at this. Netflix, Warner Bros., Sony, NBC Universal, Disney, Paramount. Paramount is still at the bottom. Well, I mean, Netflix is killing it because in Netflix, you also got to understand Netflix is the OG, the original player in video streaming. You know, they got started first creating original content for their service. So, you know, it only makes sense that they are at the very top of entertainment. And then Paramount is all the way at the bottom. But Disney, man, Disney has been doing a lot of stupid shit. For real. I mean, take a look at some of Sony's successes. I mean, and I think now, I mean, Sony, if this is the case, Sony should start a theme park, right? Sony should start a theme park and compete with Disney with the theme park, right? Because right now, Universal is actually way better than fucking Disney when it comes to theme parks now. Because Disney, they fucked up the whole Star Wars shit. I mean, it's a fucking disaster. Right? I mean, Sony has had so many hits. Venom belongs to Sony. Broke box office records. Spider-Man No Way Home could hit $2 billion at the global box office if it were released in China. I mean, without China, I mean, it's doing great without China. Without China, it's doing just $1 billion. So we don't really need China if you think about it. All right, said Disney's new Star Wars Hotel slam as galactic failure. Yeah, so Disney, they have been trying to bring up Star Wars again and again and again. They have been trying to profit from Star Wars. And Disney doesn't like poor people. You know, you want to go to Disneyland? Fuck that shit. Go to Six Flags. Go to Six Flags New England because Disney doesn't like you poor shit. You know? Where is it? It says Disney's upcoming Star Wars themed Galactic Cruisers Hotel, for which 2-night stays for a family of 4 starts at $6,000. It's facing backlash for the first order. $6,000, you know, back in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, with $6,000, you could stay at Disney World for almost 2 weeks. And now, for 2 nights, that's $6,000. Disney is going down the freaking drain. It's not worth it. That's why their stocks is going down. Man. The only thing that's keeping Disney afloat is movies like Pixar. It's movies like Pixar because they're not making any original shit. Honestly, they're not making any original shit. And says as backlash continue, reservations down 50% at Disney Star Wars. Yeah, so the whole like a Disney park is losing. You know, people are losing faith in the Disney park. I mean, people are still gonna go to Disney World, but they're not gonna be big fans of Disney like they were back in the 80s and the 90s. Back in the 70s. I mean, Disney was popular from the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, the early 2000s, and then in the late 2000s, that's when it fucked up. I mean, it really, really, really fucked up. Thank you, Disney. You know what you're doing, Disney. Of course you are. As a matter of fact, Disney is so messed up right now that this Disney owns Pixar, but the creator, I mean the who was it, the CEO? I think it was the CEO of Pixar. He left. Say out the Pixar chief, Lester, hired by Skydance Animation. It says Pixar on live after John Lasseter. The company quite a different now. Pixar is reportedly making strides in terms of diversity of its. I mean, diversity behind. As parent company, Disney celebrates a banner year with the recent launch, Disney Plus. Right, among the wave of alleged sexual offenders whose behavior rose to the surface, 2017 was John Lasseter. It turned out the chief creator officer of Walt Disney Animation Pixar had a long history of misogynistic and toxic. What the fuck? Anyways, didn't mean to go that far in that article. The point here is that companies that were owned by Disney, that are owned by Disney, like Pixar, a lot of those people are gonna start leaving, because the CEO of Pixar is now on Skydance. John Lasseter, so former Pixar John Lasseter has been named head of Skydance Animation. The hire comes after Lasseter has been trying and largely failing to drum up interest from studios in recent months. Having met with Warner Brothers and other players, many major studios and technology companies were worried partnering with Lasseter because he was ousted from Pixar in the wake of a sexual harassment scandal. So they say. Just checking on the chat. And anybody who can leave Disney will. Box office Disney Encanto. Disappointment with mere 40 million debut. Another box office disaster. Disney Plus hasn't added many new subscribers in 2021, says report. It's all going down the drain. Right? And Disney has something good going for it. They had The Mandalorian, but of course they had to mess it up with the Book of Boba Fett and how woke it was. The Book of Boba Fett is too woke. It's just too woke. You know? So a lot of people complain about the Western movie industry in America, how is it's just ruined by all these by leftist ideologies, really, like the whole like feminism, social justice warriors, identity politics, and things of that nature, wokeism. But what's gonna happen? But you gotta understand that one of the reasons why this happens is because there's only it's like one company now has ownership of a lot of these other institutions, right? A lot of these other entertainment companies, because Disney owns Marvel, Disney owns Pixar, Disney owns what else they own? ESPN, Hulu. They own Hulu. They have the rights to a lot of the Fox distribution stuff, right? They own a lot of those rights. So it's like when Disney owns everything, they get to tell everybody else what to do. I mean, take a look at Blue Sky Studios. They get to tell them what to do. Because they own them. So I'm wondering now if the same shit is gonna happen with the gaming industry. Is the gaming industry going to become like the movie industry? It's because now that Microsoft owns Bethesda, Microsoft now owns Activision Blizzard, and these companies own a lot of titles. It's only a matter of time before Sony starts buying out other, more companies like I don't know, like Square Enix. Some people say that Sony's gonna buy Square Enix. Some people say that Sony's gonna buy other companies like, I mean, they already bought Bungie, but they're probably gonna buy, just maybe Ubisoft. I mean, I think Ubisoft and Sony will work great, but the problem is that there's the monopoly, right? The problem is the monopoly. Since Sony owns, and by the way, Sony, they censor stuff. They censor a lot of shit. So since Sony owns a lot of these companies, since Microsoft owns a lot of these companies, now Microsoft, they get to tell them what to do. They get to tell them what to do. So we can have a situation similar to the movie industry where, like, you're going to have more and more and more games, get censored, and they're going to start adding all these, all these left-leaning ideas that is going to create the same problem that happened in the comic book industry and the movie industry. Right? We're going to run into issues with, lazy writing. And then you're going to have, and then there's also the problem. Of like gaming studios in Japan. Like, hopefully they start fighting back. They start fighting back against these things, because it's like, what's the point of creativity? What's the point of creativity if everything you do is being monitored? I mean, it's not that it's being monitored, but it's being, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's like, forget to play the music. Sorry, forget to play some music, guys. What's the point of creativity when the company that owns you, they start telling you to change things, change this, change that, change this, change that, change this. I don't like the name of your character, change it. Oh, that's not politically correct. And that's the thing. A lot of these companies are politically correct. Microsoft is owned by Bill Gates, one of the most corrupted billionaires in the world, for God's sakes. All right, so does anybody have anything to say? If you want to join in the conversation, make sure to comment on the chat. I can reply right away. And also, I hope you guys like the music I'm playing. Okay. I don't spend a lot of time, haven't talked about video games in a while, which is why I decided to make this video go live for once. And now let me go to Kotaku really quick. Okay, so here's another thing. Tencent continues conquest as it acquires all shares of 1C Entertainment. Said yet more news on Tencent expanding its hold over the gaming industry has surfaced as the China-located company now owns all shares of the developer 1C Entertainment Bound. To have many curious when they will eventually start acquiring bigger names and start censoring mainstream titles. What did I just say? What did I just say? So it's Sony. Tencent is one of the biggest gaming companies, and they have a lot of shares in a lot of companies. Tencent has shares in Activision Blizzard as well, right? And as the article says, they're gonna start censoring mainstream titles because they don't believe in just open creativity. All right, so Kwanzak25 says, I feel that in the future these companies will go bankrupt and the rise of indies will begin. Yeah, I mean they're gonna start going bankrupt because they're not. See, traditionally, the problem is that businesses were supposed to serve their customer, right? You're supposed to serve the customer, and you're supposed to listen to the customer because the customer is always right, right? And at least that is true in the video game industry, because if you make a shitty game, is the game is too buggy, right? If the game is too buggy, then you're doing something wrong. I mean, take a look at what happened to Ubisoft. What happened with Ubisoft in the NFTs? Ubisoft releasing NFTs immediately. The customers spoke, and they expressed how much they hated NFTs. You know what I mean? Yeah. So somebody asked. Oh, Nitwood World says so. They gonna censor Boku no Pico and release it in America. I mean, it's Tencent probably. Because you gotta understand, this is happening with Disney too. This is happening with Disney, where it's like, because the purpose of a company is to make money for the stakeholders, then they're like, oh well, our stakeholders don't like it when we do this. We gotta change things up, and then they're gonna start censoring mainstream titles because of whatever it is they believe in, right? And then their profits go down, and they're like, oh wait a minute, I thought this is what people wanted. No, that's what you wanted. So the deal of Tencent acquiring all shares of 1C Entertainment from parent company. 1C was made in November 2021, granting the communist company a majority stake in 1C Entertainment and its subsidiaries. The company of the aforementioned subsidiaries containing 1C in their branding will have the names changing after the deal closes out. According to the press release, the board member Thomas Niensporky, 1C Entertainment, are excited by this turn of events. Yeah, excited on this turn of events until you start losing money. That's how it works. Until, of course, you start losing money. Nitwist said, finally I can watch a hentai that is so censored it only lasts 3 minutes. I wouldn't call that a hentai. Gonna end up like freaking Crunchyroll censoring a kiss. If you guys remember, the World's End Harem anime got censored. I mean, it was already being censored, but then they had to go and censor a kiss, by just blackening out the face of the characters. Didn't make any freaking sense. Right, so indie games, but you know what the problem is? Everybody keeps saying that indie games are going to be indie developers are going to be the next, new thing. But the problem is, I honestly don't play a lot of indie games. Most of the games I play, they're like, they're like mainstream titles. Like Final Fantasy is mainly what I play. I don't follow a lot of indie producers, indie titles. And then there's also the temptation of indie companies, indie developers getting bought out by companies like Tencent or Sony, Microsoft, or Microshaft, whatever. So here in this deal said, we are truly excited about this deal, announcing the opportunity, 1Z game business. Our vision and passion will now back the leading global games company. Tencent, companies like Tencent. The problem is with Tencent is that it comes from a country where like censorship rules. So it's like they also bring those values into the gaming industry, wanting to censor a lot of the things too. Right? So then things in the game get censored and people get pissed off and then they leave. Right? But a lot of companies keep making business deals with Tencent just for the money. You know what they should do? What they need to do is let the artists create their artwork. Let the artists create art, and then get out of the artist's way. Get out of the artist's way. Let the artist create art, and then they just get to be the owner and profit off the games. But no, at the same time, they gotta censor shit. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. All right, so this is a pretty short live stream. Just wanted to talk about movie industry and gaming industry. Next time I'm gonna have some anime stuff, some manga stuff maybe, and just some anime manga stuff. I haven't live streamed. You know, I've just been busy with life and work, and so I just stay making just regular daily videos. But I do like to live stream. I like to see what people post in the chat. And but anyways, guys, that is it. Hope you guys liked the live stream. Hope you guys liked the music. By the way, this is from The World Ends With You. The music is from The World Ends With You. So go check out the game. Go check out the soundtrack. And that is it. This is Andy Matrix. Thank you guys for watching. Good night and take care. Godspeed. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment below. Leave a comment. Like the video.